and welcome back to the Kaisa Show.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. It feels good to say that. We have enough underneath our belt that we can say, welcome back.
It's starting to feel routine.
It's starting to feel good. Starting to feel like we might know what we're doing, but knock on wood.
Hold on. That is totally not true.
Okay, it's not true.
Yeah, we just spent the last half hour going what do we talk about today? But I think we arrived at something fun.
Yeah. Well, only because we want the conversations to be interesting and beneficial. We care about what the listener is going to receive. We don't just want to hop on here and jibber jabber.
Totally.
So we're being respectful.
There's some thought put into this.
There is always thought
even
put into
though it
this.
might not seem like it at times, but there is.
There is. This is as organized as you and I get in conversation. So there's thought.
Yes, because part of our organization is not being organized.
And
true.
It works out.
Yeah, it works.
It's
Sometimes
part
you got to
of
go with the flow.
Yeah.
One time I realized for creativity, this is serious. I don't know.
Oh,
I thought I was leaning over the joke.
I thought he was going to a joke.
No, but I had this thought with creativity where you can only put together the formula that might get you a creative thing, that magic, if you will. But you the flow and just the creativity sort of showing up. You have to be open for whatever to show up. You can only do so much to plan it. It won't always create the thing.
Absolutely. And I also think that when you overplan it, you stunt the creative growth. I think most everything that's ever happened that you're oh my gosh, is because it was one little hair away from being a disaster explosion.
Totally.
But it ended up working out.
Or come from an accident. How many good things have come from mistakes?
Oh.
We were taking photos today.
And failures. And absolutely.
Yeah. And the outfit you thought, or the location we thought, or the light that we thought, all wasn't really where we landed for the photo to actually be exactly what you wanted and needed.
It's so true. Also, but it just teaches you so much about how, especially for somebody like me who is, perfectionist and everything is planned out, how rolling with the punches is so much more beneficial in life. It is, and also so much less stressful.
100%.
Oh
yeah,
how gosh.
I've changed so much in the last year, where every message I used to get from you used to just put me into panic mode, I swear.
Oh my gosh, the truth comes out. What do you mean?
Because it was always just hey, I know this is last minute. We're switching up tomorrow. We were just always changing and moving. And I realized, and it's not that is just the way that our business was rolling.
Yeah.
And then I just got to this point, it's if I can just roll with the punches, it is so much. That's where sort of done is better than perfect started showing up for me. And it's just
wait, hold on, because this is my new favorite saying. Done is better than perfect. And for us, especially inside of this company, we have to remind ourselves. I always ask you, I keep forgetting. I'm always Mike, what is your saying? I need to be reminded of that right now. Done is better than perfect, because we'll fix it if it needs fixing later on.
Exactly.
We got to get
but
it
just
done.
Get it out the door.
Yeah.
And then see what the people want, or see how it's received, and then because we can get so caught up of what we think people want, and then never release it,
Yeah,
so
totally. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, well, here we
We're
go.
Hopping in. We're diving
on our
in
tangents.
today.
Okay, but before we do, what's buzzing?
Hold on. We're going to start today a little different.
Oh,
all right?
Really? Okay, wait, hold on.
Yeah, you don't know about
really?
this, but I have a surprise.
This is the Kaisa Show.
I have a surprise.
Oh, no.
We have our first 5-star review for the Kaisa Show.
No! Did Priya write it?
No.
That's Mike's wife.
Well, I don't know. She could have. She didn't sign it, Priya. It's from Angela. Okay, so the podcast is stacked on top of your other podcast seasons. So when you go to the podcast and you might see other reviews, those are true, but those were reflecting the older podcasts.
Okay.
So now we got our very first review.
I'm so proud of us.
Okay, so I want to start off by reading it.
Oh, okay. Well, is it emotional? I'm not really ready to be emotional today.
No, it's not really emotional.
Okay.
The title, my new favorite podcast.
Oh, my
So let's just start there, okay? I found this podcast while I was running the Goggins 4x4x48 and immediately loved it. I love how open and honest Kaisa is. I can relate to a lot of what she is talking about. And I'm sure there are so many others who do as well. So thank you, Kaisa, for this great podcast. Keep bringing the realness. P.S. I don't think you need any special intro. I love how off the cuff the show is.
Oh, my. This is Angela?
Angela.
Oh, my gosh, Angela.
Isn't that great?
Angela, if you are listening, will you please DM me? I would love to send you a little gift. for being our first review.
Yeah. Thank you.
That is amazing.
So Angela broke the seal, if you will. If there's others out there listening, we'd love reviews. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you guys think. If you have suggestions, we also just opened up KaisaFit.com/ask, ASK, where you can go and leave a voicemail, a voice recording, so that we can actually play those on the show and answer questions on the show.
Because we actually really like doing, I think the rapid fire, I always call it the wrong thing, questions are actually really fun. We enjoy doing them. Whenever I ask people this on social media, I think I don't ask the right thing because people always come back with like massive topics, and you absolutely can leave a topic. But literally, if you had a random question, like what's your favorite fruit? I mean, that was stupid, but like, well, maybe that's your question. But ask us anything because it helps kind of guide what we're doing. And we really actually do. Some podcasts are just completely random question podcasts, which we have a lot of fun doing. So anything and everything, please leave it there and keep it PG-13.
Yeah. And I think, well, it depends on how many we get of these and all that, but it could just be like a segment in the beginning or the end of the podcast where we go to listener questions.
Cool.
It could dictate an entire episode, like you're saying. It could just be a quick thing. So
cool.
At any rate, thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Angela. We so appreciate you.
Validation.
That, and just like
one
that one
listening.
person is listening. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, but honestly, Angela, please, if you are listening, please DM me. I would love to send you a little something. All right.
Okay, so also I just was like, oh, Angela was doing the 4x4x48. Are you familiar with this?
No.
No. Okay, so then I was like, we should look into this 4x4x48 because I was like, isn't that so? Goggins? Are you familiar with David Goggins?
No.
Okay, here we go. So this is a good little tangent we can go on. So I looked it up. The Goggins challenge is 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
What?
And it's a fundraiser. So it's kind of like, have you ever heard of like
it's like the Ragnar race. I've done Ragnar.
Yeah. So I think the event already went. I think they do it like a live thing where everyone sort of does it together for the same 48 hours. You can also work out, I believe it's like from 45 to 60 minutes every 4 hours for 4 hours, or every 4 hours for 48 hours. Yeah. So obviously there's like lack of sleep going on there, but it sounds cool. What I most found interesting though was a lot of times I think we know who's listening and what they're listening to, and I find it really interesting that someone's doing something really hardcore, and we might be talking about like
just some
listen
bullshit.
to your body and like don't push yourself too hard, and like she's like literally working out or running every 4 hours, like setting her fucking alarm, for 2 days straight. So I think it's so cool that it's not like the things we talk about or the messages, like they're not like there's variation, and there's things that you push hard.
Well, they're not excluding people too. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, I like
but
that.
I think it also goes along with like your training, right? Like you talk about all the things, but then not to say you don't like pay attention to recovery, but like you also push hard.
Yes.
And you like to push hard. So I think that's just like an interesting sort of like, it can be both.
Yes. Oh, always. What is that word when it can be, it's the dichotomy?
Dichotomy? Yeah, I believe
It's been a good word for me.
Yes. So then I was thinking, things are cool to train for, right? Like we like training for things.
I think
so
I know
here
where
we
you're going.
go. You're training for a half marathon in Santa Monica?
In Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Is that Northern
In 1
California
month.
or is that Southern California?
Northern California.
Okay. How's that going? Is that May?
May 7th.
This might be out. Like, this is a little delayed. So
if this is out, I hope I survived the half marathon.
talk to your future self.
Talk to my future self. You can do it. Well, here, let's just be totally honest. The half marathon, I am a goal-oriented person. We've talked about this before. The half marathon is because I wanted to run a little bit more. And I know that if I have something that's out there that is motivating, when it comes to the moment that I need to go for a run and I try to talk myself out of it, I have that little anchor point to be like, no, go do the run. So I'm not planning on breaking any records in this half marathon. I'm hoping I make it through, but I'm also okay with run walk. If that's what I need to do, is just my anchor point. So I'm not doing any crazy marathon training right now.
Yeah.
At all. I'm a
You're
little
just
behind.
training.
I'm training
in general.
And it's motivation for me on like the other day when I was in California. So I did my strength workout and I was like, well, you need to run a little bit. So I got on and did a 40-minute run walk. So it's that is what the marathon is like. That's what it's signifying for me. It's just that little reminder of like, go do that little extra thing right now, because that's the season that I'm in, that I want to just push it. I want to see what's possible.
Was the run inside or outside?
It was inside.
It was, okay.
On a treadmill. It was actually so awesome. Oh. I was one treadmill away from a woman that probably was in her mid-50s. And I had to tell her afterwards, because by the time she stopped, then I was like, okay, I'm going to stop now, because she kept me going. So I ended up doing 40 minutes on the treadmill. And I was, it's like my little mini runner's high. I was so happy. So afterwards I said to her, like, thank you so much for continuing. She was looking at me like, you crazy lady. And I was like, no, I would have stopped like 20 minutes ago. So thank you. It was just a cool little moment. I had a conversation with her, but
I like that it's bundled in like a sweet thing, when really it's like, if this bitch is still running, I'm still running.
No, it wasn't like that. That's not that. I
the
promise you,
competitive spirit wasn't there. Okay,
no, that
okay,
spirit was not there.
Okay.
It was so motivating to me, and she just like had this little happy spirit about her, and I think because it was reminding me like, well, I want to be 50 something and like out here running like her on. So it was just like that. So then I was okay with run walk, because I thought I was gonna do like a 30-minute run, and then I just.
It's the softer side of Kaisa.
I know, softer side of Kaisa is definitely coming out.
It's like the Kaisa cushion.
The Kaisa cushion?
I feel like if you were to have a really gentle conversation, it would have to be on like a bean bag, and it would be all soft topics, the cushion. It sounded like a different product that could go. I don't know where that could go.
We're not releasing the Kaisa cushion anytime soon.
I love to just throw the ideas out there, because you never know
what's
what
going
could
to
stick, right?
Yeah.
So
anyways, that's how my marathon training is going.
Because how many times running, so for me, when I take big breaks from running, the first run I go out on, I'm so sore. Even if I like work out a lot and I feel like really conditioned and just like good in my body, something about a run always kind of wrecks me. How do you feel? Like, can you just go for like 40 minutes is a long time.
Yeah, but it was a run walk. So I think when I looked down on the treadmill, it was like 3.5 miles or 4 miles. Like, it wasn't crazy.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, but so the thing is running is a repetitive motion. And so if there's anything slightly off, you've repeated that motion, hundreds of times when you're out on a run. So it does make sense that you start to feel certain things. And when I started doing this like last month, noticed right away on my left side, it started bothering my left calf, and it was going all the way up. So I went and got different shoes, and
let's talk about that.
That was gonna be my buzzing topic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We'll pause there.
But so it does make a difference. And this is why one of the things that people always think is like everybody should just be able to go out and run.
Yeah.
Running is really, really aggressive actually on your body. So if you are thinking like maybe I should run, start with walking and just like check in and see how things feel. And like we always say also, if you start noticing things, try like pause, take it back a notch, or go have somebody look at your movement, because it makes a big difference. Like the shoes you're wearing or how you're running or how you're striding, all that makes a difference. So it makes sense that you would be feeling your body.
I also, it's a fine line though, because sometimes you kind of get like a little, ooh, my calf is, or my foot's a little, there's something going on. And a lot of times it's, if I note it, like I don't just like ignore it and go like, what's another block or two, feel like all of a sudden a lot of times that kind of pain sort of shakes itself out. So I don't know like what that is, if that's like a weird thing, but anyways.
Yeah.
Like I never feel good in the first mile. Like it's actually, I only like running 3 miles because it's just kind of like too hard after that. But I actually end up feeling my best
towards the end. So here's another thing too, so jogging is really hard on the body, because if you imagine when you're jogging, kind of like, you're slower. And so you're kind of, the impact on the joints is a lot heavier. They actually tell you if you could go out and like run, not just like jog, but like run fast, walk, catch your breath, run fast. It's actually a lot better on your body. And I actually don't feel good until about the 3rd mile. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I could keep going. So by the time I hit that 3rd mile, I kind of like, oh, okay, my body is warmed up. It takes a long time to warm this woman up. And then I'm ready to go. Yeah. Keep going.
I don't know, we're just naturally talking about this stuff. So we'll just keep it going if that's cool with you.
Absolutely.
Have you ever done Zone 2 training?
I don't think so.
I forget the name of who created it. Starts with an M.
It's like how Orange Theory started, right?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like in the heart rate zone.
Yeah, I think they're different, but this is like, the idea is that I think it's zone 2. Could be zone 1. I'm pretty sure it's zone 2. But if you train in specific zones, so this specific plan is you never get out of zone 2, which is like, for me, it's around like 140-ish or something heart rate. So you stay below that for your entirety of your run. And at first, and the idea is that I'm not very scientific here, but like essentially,
this isn't a scientific podcast.
Yeah, like essentially you're not pushing your system so hard so that your recovery and your depletion never really gets too taxed. And so what was crazy is you're really slow, like at first especially. It's like almost to where you're like barely jogging to keep that heart rate down, and a slight increase in the incline of a road or trail. Like, it's crazy how you're like, oh my God, I have to basically walk. But I noticed I've never ran so far before when I was doing this training a couple years ago, and I could run 7 miles.
I remember you talking about this, actually.
And it was slow. Like, probably like, for me, it was like 10 minutes of a mile is like that's like where I average. But this was like probably 12, 13 minutes a mile. And what was crazy though, I was never sore because the system wasn't being like taxed. So it was really interesting. And the overall long game is that if you do that training, it takes a lot longer, but then when you get faster, you're also like
capacity for
exactly,
recovery. Yeah. I mean, everybody's body is different though too. And this is the thing, like, I love the things that you're motivated by, like, totally don't motivate me. You know what I mean? And that's what I love. Like, that's what's so awesome. Like, the gadget and the numbers and all these things are like how you always love to more of that scientific, like how to test things. And I'm just like, just fucking go out and go balls to the wall. You know what I mean? Like, totally. But what's so beautiful is like everybody is different, and figure out the things that keep you motivated or that work for you. And when they don't, try something new. Like, that's literally what this is.
I like that. I just got this vision. You're like the sports car doing donuts. You're like, let's go fast, baby. And I'm like the battery powered, like, efficient car of like, okay, if we put 12 batteries together, we'll get 75 miles to the gallon if you shave a little weight off.
But the funniest thing is, at the end of the day, you're still out there doing it. And I'm like what do they call them? Like the bursting the flame, and then I'm out.
But so you're already on to the next thing,
I'm on to the
right?
next thing. It's so true. But literally, to each their own. I think that's what's so beautiful about all this. It's like, figure out what works for you, and then just stay doing that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fun little catch up on your, and then I don't know, hopefully we'll talk about the half marathon again, maybe before it happens. And then definitely we'll have to recap what happens.
All I can say about the half marathon though is, I think it was Luca joking, who basically said, I'm just a little concerned that you're not really going to train very much for it. And then that you're just going to go out and do it. And competitively, you're going to want to keep up with all the people that have trained, and then you're going to be hurt. So that's my number one thing right now is like, Kaisa, respect your body, humble. Listen to your body, stay humble. And it's a winery at the end. The reason we chose this half marathon, I'm doing it with my friend. The reason we chose it is because it's a run and sip. Now, I did think I was sipping along the run, but
which makes sense.
That's not what it is.
Run, then sip,
which they should have changed that.
Yeah.
So it's
But they probably get people like you to sign up if it's run and sip.
Oh, it totally worked. And then there's a winery or a wine garden at the end.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a great time.
I can only imagine though, like you're like, oh, I'm just having a good time. Oh, this is gonna be so good. And then the gun goes off, and you're like, on your left. I can just hear it now. On your left. Just passing people left and right.
And then I only make it 1 mile.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm on the side of the road.
Like, anybody got some wine? Where's the wine? I can see
ambulance. Send an ambulance. I got to knock on wood. I really hope nothing like that happens.
No, you'll be
good.
But
we are on tangents. But you know what's really cool about this? So it's my friend Mickey. Mickey's who I play soccer with. Mm-hmm. Do lots of active things. I'd known her. We met on a soccer team when we were like 12 years old. And we were talking about we wanted to do fun things, like travel. And then we were like, why not travel around certain healthy things? You know what I mean? Not that traveling isn't healthy. And so that's how we got to this, doing the half marathon. It was like, let's go somewhere we want to go, have kind of an end point, have fun, but we're not trying to, I mean, she's a badass. She might win the half marathon. I'm not. But then we have kind of like a healthy spin on our vacation and our travel. And
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah.
That's a great, I wasn't going to bring this up, but that is like, we started doing that before pandemic. Like we would do like Spartan races and runs. We used to go to Spokane to do the Bloomsday run when my brother lived over there. And then when we did the Spartan races, we were trying to accomplish, I think we had to do 3 different ones. And we flew to Montana to do one.
So fun.
We flew to California. It's really fun to do that.
Sorry, I keep
No, go ahead.
It's also a really cool bonding thing.
Totally.
You know, like that's what's so cool too. Just like having movement as the kind of centerpiece. There's a lot that happens when you move and have to go through hard things with each other. So I love that.
And I don't know, like I love vacation, but I love the idea of vacation probably more than I love vacation, because then when I'm out and if there's nothing to do, I actually just kind of like, I'm like, why did we do all this? So having something to do almost makes you feel a lot more grateful and appreciative for the time that you do have after or before the run or whatever the thing is you're doing. Yeah.
I mean, we both talked about this. We're more travel people rather than vacation. I think there's a little bit difference, you know, travel and go experience rather than vacation seems a little bit more like you're trying to escape, you know, your life for a minute and go kick it. But
which we're not going to go there, but that's what we're going to talk about, I think, in a little bit. It's sort of just like travel and lifestyle. How do you manage that, like with fitness, with eating
topic.
or whatever? Yeah. So we won't go there yet.
Pause. Can we go to our buzzing?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Okay. Now hit.
So I am trying to run a little bit more, and I realized when I went out for my first run a month ago, I am wearing Mizuno running shoes, and they are trail running shoes that I have had for probably 5+ years. And so when I was on that first run and my, you know, calf is cramping and things are going wrong, I was like, you know, there's obviously some other things going on, but I need new running shoes. So I put it out there and I asked everybody, what are your favorite running shoes? Hoka's were like number 1.
Yeah, everyone's about the Hoka's.
I had to get over I had to be a little bit more humble about my style, because just stylistically, the Hoka's, I was like, I don't think I can do this. And I went and tried them on, and luckily my foot didn't like them either.
Yeah.
But I found Saucony's, and I am loving my Saucony's, and they are called Trophies.
Are you sure they're Saucony's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm second guessing.
No, I just saw the photo and I thought for some reason they were Asics, but they're Saucony's.
They're Saucony's.
Okay.
Because I remember,
loves Saucony's.
Yeah, I remember the old school Saucony's that were cool with like the nylon back in the day.
Kind of looked like the Reebok. I forget what those are called.
Yes.
But
Yeah, the classics. Yeah.
What were they? Reebok Classic?
Nike. Yeah, I don't know actually.
Okay.
But long story short, Saucony running shoes. I'm pretty sure they're called Triumph or Trophy. One of those, and I love them.
Okay.
Love them.
Great.
Haven't done a lot.
How
of
many
runs?
runs? Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I walked the whole time I was in Mexico. We walked them, and I love them.
You're cruising
body,
in your little athletic sneakers.
I was cruising in my sneakers.
Did you do any power walking?
Power walked.
Yeah, big time.
Yes.
With your weights in each hand, which
yes,
are margaritas.
with and around my anklets and margaritas.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll
get to that. Yes.
Okay.
But anyways, that's what I'm buzzing on.
Cool.
New running shoes.
Love it.
Make a difference. They make it training shoes in general, how you're moving, make a difference. We all know, shout out to Vivo Barefoot, because that's what I love to train in. Mm-hmm. But when I'm running, a minimal shoe is not, can't do long distance in that.
Yeah, you have to train for that for sure.
Yeah.
And some people, I don't think, not everyone's feet ever will be comfortable in a minimal shoe running, even if you do train.
Right. I don't know that I don't think I do enough running to train my body to handle such a minimal shoe.
Yeah, because I love the Vivos for day. Like I used to not be able to wear them for a whole day. Like it was too much. But now I've been wearing them for almost a year and I love them. But I've tried to run in them. And if I can run a mile, but anything over that, it's not that I can't do it. It's just that I get too sore. Like my feet get super sore. So it's probably just a training thing. But.
Yeah. Okay. What are you buzzing on?
Well, first of all, I'm buzzing on this C4 that we're drinking. I got to say, right now, I'm getting like tingly over here. I'm starting to see stars. I'm like amped up, ready to rip.
But Mike and I are drinking the yellow can, and the yellow can is a little intense. It's like a pre-workout.
It's the Beta Power.
It's pre-workout.
Okay. Oh, and it has carnosine.
Yeah, we're getting hyphy over here.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't aware of that. So as we're going through, I'm like, I'm getting kind of tingly. Okay, so what's buzzing? Well, Kaisa, you're asking me what's buzzing, and I'm telling you, it's this new keyboard little folio.
Oh, it's this new car from The Price is Right. That literally, I was like, where is he going with this?
Yeah, it's so cool. So I got an iPad recently, and I just bought a regular case. I wanted an iPad. Basically, it was really to like do workouts on. I don't love streaming to the TV because it often doesn't work very well. And then if I'm traveling, obviously I wouldn't have that option. So I really want an iPad for that. But then also, I take a lot of notes. I use the Apple Notes all the time for like everything.
Yeah.
But typing on my phone, if I'm doing like a long thing, is kind of a pain. So when I got this iPad, I was like, man, I'd love a keyboard. And look, lo and behold, they make a keyboard.
That's really cool. But so this is what I'm so confused about. I'm not trying to take this away from you.
Hit me.
Why don't you just get a small computer like I have? Why do you get the iPad?
It's a good question. So a lot of it is like apps work better, like for fitness. For instance, like the different apps I use, it's the battery lasts forever on the iPad. Also for like travel, like movies and things like that, you can do all of it offline. It's just it's like a giant phone. So things are just kind of, I don't know though. I mean, to be honest.
Why hasn't Apple figured out how to make the small, because you know, my little rose gold computer is basically that size, but none of the stuff work. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, or like, why don't they just make the laptop like touchscreen?
Yes.
Yeah, because this is cool. Check this out, because we don't want to divulge or divert too much from the Logitech Combo Touch. Logitech Combo Touch keyboard.
Unsponsored, but we welcome a sponsorship.
It's got a fucking trackpad, dude. Like,
that's pretty cool.
But
how much did you pay for that?
It was $150.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it's not bad. And the iPad, I think, was $500. So I mean, it's not like cheap.
Oh, so it's also cheaper though.
It is cheaper
than to go that route. That's half the price of the desk or the laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And frankly, like, I just don't need a lot of the things that the laptop does too. It's kind of like it's almost weird when I open this. I'm like, cool. Like, I don't really have anything to do on it. You know, it's like, it's just it's kind of specific use. Anyways, I thought it was cool. You can also pop the keyboard off and just use it like that.
You're selling me on an iPad.
It's cool. I mean, you travel a lot.
Yeah.
It's so money for traveling.
Yeah.
All your workouts. Oh, here's the other thing I love about it. FaceTime. When I travel, and honestly, I just started talking to my mom. My mom lives in Arizona. It's a cool, I'll have to show you this later too. It does this thing. I don't know how it works, but it tracks you with the camera. So it kind of keeps you centered in. That's an iPad thing, not the Logitech keyboard thing. Anyways, I'm drawing this out as I always do, but I'm buzzing on this Logitech Combo Touch keyboard.
We're buzzing on some cool things today.
I think so too. Okay, so the other thing I had on the list was, what's up with athletic greens? Because here's the thing. I feel like we're doing a podcast, okay? And I feel like, what podcast isn't sponsored by Athletic Greens?
I am dying right now. I'm living. I have to switch. I did not expect that to come out of your mouth. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea. I think it's like the new tummy tea or something. Like, I literally think they have a ton of money somehow, whoever's backing it, and have like pushed it everywhere. I don't know if it's crap. I don't know if it's good.
They sponsor everyone. And here's the thing. It happens to me. It just happened, which is why I brought it up, is because I was listening to our last week or whatever previous podcast. And I was like, we have this like sponsorship section, but we're actually not sponsored by anybody.
We're not sponsored by anybody.
We're just practicing when we do get sponsors.
Major sponsor.
And I was like, you know what's funny is like, I'm waiting for Athletic Greens to come up, because in every podcast I listen to, or all the influencers, it's all about Athletic Greens. And it's kind of everywhere, to where friends now, like, we were with some friends and like, she was just making her Athletic Greens on a Sunday. And I was like, well, you bring that with you? And she's like, oh yeah, like my sister swears by it. And every time I go down the rabbit hole, I'm like, oh, everyone just says it improves their life. It's getting all the things. And then I find like a nutritionist who writes about it, and they're basically like, it's not really that great, or it doesn't really work. So here's the thing. Prove us wrong, Athletic Greens. Send us.
No. But hold on. I do want to go off of something on this. I don't actually know what's in Athletic Greens, but I do think it proves this point where people are coming into their health journey from all different avenues. And if your friend or whoever it is takes that and, wakes up, is remembered to do that one thing that they think is caring for themselves. Maybe that thing didn't really do anything, but the thought of caring for themselves mattered and adds up. That all stacks up. That's like, health money in the bank account. And I love that. And I approve that. Sometimes though, some of this stuff is bullshit. I don't even know what's an athletic green, so I can't actually talk about it. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I'll buy it. I'll test it out.
Let's do a test.
Let's
do a 2-week test or whatever they say.
See if our life has changed on
See
athletic
what
greens.
changes for us.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Okay.
And do you out there, are you an athletic greens taker?
User?
Yeah.
But I definitely also though, like, do you, if you are an athletic greens taker, do you take supplements at all? Do you eat greens at all? Like what else is going on in your life that, maybe it is huge and like transformational, but it could.
Depends on
who it is.
And I do hear a lot, like some people talk about supplementing travel when it's harder to get like greens and things like that. So they use it only really when they're not home and they just focus on eating healthy. Anyways, I just wanted to bring it up because it's kind of funny. First of all, I'm surprised you're not sponsored by Athletic Greens somehow.
Oh, God, clearly not everybody's sponsored by them.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up the whole long intro. We are like, we were buzzing on the intro.
We're halfway through the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, what a perfect segue, by the way. People use it while traveling.
Oh.
You've been traveling. I have some upcoming travel. I wanted to talk today about how you like stay moving or just not even, like if you have tips or just sharing what your lifestyle is like when you're traveling, being someone who's obviously,
like how do I take care of myself when I travel?
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
That's debatable. Yeah. I mean, let's just put it out there. It's not easy.
And let's start with movement. Let's just
how do I move when I travel?
Like how do you move? How do you view movement when you travel?
This is so funny, actually, because Luke and I were just talking about this, and he was like, when I land, no matter what time it is, I go straight to the gym and do a 20-minute run. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not me. I am not balls to the wall hardcore like that. At least like not now. I try to remind myself that, especially because most of the time when I'm traveling for work. So my days are probably like pretty full. I try to remind myself that anything is better than nothing. So even like going and walking out and about and just like walking around is really good. But I happen to also like to hit people up when I'm traveling and see if there's any other like coaches that I can work out with or a cool studio or something that I can go to, because me, knowing myself, I do a lot better with a schedule and like having committed to working out with somebody at this specific time or showing up at this specific time at a studio. I will stick with that a lot better than just saying like, oh, I'm going to go down to the hotel gym and get a workout in. So I think the number one thing is knowing yourself and being very realistic. If I have crazy days and sometimes it's very stressful, like I'll literally just try to go walk to a dinner place. Like that's what I was doing in LA. It was like, I just went for a long walk to a good little restaurant down the street. So I think it's figuring out what is actually going to be possible and setting up realistic expectations.
Because some people, like I find it's like a big deal. Like I'm traveling, I'm going to be gone for 4 days. I have to figure out like, is there a Peloton bike there? Or is there a yoga studio or is there weights? Like what I'm going to be able to do. I know the answer. You're not this person, but like, I think, cause I kind of used to be that way in a way, like where I was like, oh, I need to make sure, not to that degree, but like I need to make sure I can get in my workout. And now it's definitely much more of like, oh, what is available? Like it's a walk, or like, oh, there's some like recently when we were in Palm Springs, there was a one yoga mat. I think there was like 2 8-pound dumbbells and something else that was kind of strange. And we were like, we should work out with this. And so Priya and I like created a workout.
Love it.
And it was really fun.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like when you're training, for instance, I guess, because you're 3 days on hard and then 3 days recovery, like that doesn't work when you're gone for 5 days.
Yeah, so. I don't know. I just think it's like the season that I'm in is I'm not trying to be obsessive about anything. There was a conversation in my head when I was flying back last night, because I was just in Mexico, where I was kind of like, oh gosh, Thursday's workout with Luca is going to be a little crazy and, rough or whatever. But I just try not to be obsessive about things. Like I'm not going to switch that. Like don't have a personal trainer in Mexico with me. We went for walks every morning. We started our day with a 3-mile walk. which was awesome and great. And that was super fun. But I just really try not to be obsessive and try not, because if I have that mentality, it can take over everything, right? Then it can ruin your trip and ruin vacation. You're obsessive about this. And I just actively practice not to be like that, honestly.
Who planned the 3 mile walks?
My uncle. Shout out to Matt.
Uncle Matt comes. He's on the show every time. We're gonna have a crazy episode with Uncle Matt.
Let's have him. No, so I went to Mexico with my uncle and his girlfriend, and it was such a fun trip. And he was like, "We do not start the day. Like the day does not start until after our walk."
Wow.
The first day. We were in the town of Cabo, and he looked up on a mountain. He was like, "That little thing up there is our halfway mile point." And I was like, "Matt, bro, I'm not doing that. Okay. Like I'm on vacation. I'm like kicking it. I'll go on a little walk, but no." I almost swore, motherfucker tricked me. We got partway through and he was like, "All right, we're already in it." He knows, like, once I'm in it, I'm like gonna go freaking straight up this like windy ass cobblestone road, and then end up being the best thing. And then we come down from that, we stopped at this really cool restaurant, had breakfast, and then just kicked it the rest of the day. So that was our theme. Apparently that's what they do. Everywhere they go.
And it has been, because I was going to ask, did you inspire this?
No.
I didn't know this about
My
Matt.
uncle is like, he has an amazing party hard, but like,
does he do that at home, or is that only when he's on vacation he starts his day with a 3 mile walk?
Well, and we should have him on here to ask.
Yeah, we should ask about his regimen.
The joke is my uncle is hashtag just don't move. That's what he likes to joke about, but he's pretty active. I think he is like the definition of trying to figure out how to make it work no matter what, and just being realistic. But my uncle also, like, we like to party really hard. So he was like, before we go crazy, let's all get it. So I was
your
up.
turns.
Yeah, so I was up at we were up at they were probably up at 7:30. I was up at 8, out on our walk every morning on vacay. It was awesome. That's great. Yeah.
I love that. I love getting in some sort of like movement, especially like we've talked about this numerous times. I'm such a fan of walking now. Yeah. Like I love it. It's so great. That's hilarious though, because Matt tricking you, I'm having PTSD. Like if Priya was listening right now, she'd probably start getting really fired up, because that's what I always do. And I actually have to like stop doing it, because I'm like, "Hey babe, you want to go on like a 10-mile bike ride?" And then knowing that I want to do like a 20 mile or 15 mile. And then she's like halfway through, she's like, "How long is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, it looks like it's actually a little longer." And then it just never works. Even though we do it, we complete it. I think deep down, she's proud of herself. She's glad we did it, but she doesn't like that trickery.
Lost trust, though.
So that was definitely like, I'm having,
the trickery. If it goes more than a few times, that's not going to happen with me. I already know it's coming, and then I will say no in the very beginning. But it ended up being awesome. It was super cool views. Like, we'd made it all the way up to the top, and it was a good time. But it goes back to saying it's figuring out, like, what's doable and, like, what's enjoyable. Yeah. Depending on what the trip is, a vacation or travel or whatever it is. And I just honestly, it can ruin a trip being obsessive about trying to get everything in. And you're not at home. It's not the same thing. You're out of routine. But at the same point in time, the more I travel, the more I can also be like, it's really easy to just say, I'm not going to move. And then, a month of travel goes by and then I feel like crap. So it's just figuring out how to make it work.
Do you go into it? Like, do you basically think about, no matter, you're going to move somehow? Like, is that just kind of like when you're traveling, you're not like, how am I going to move? You're more of just like, I know I'm going to be like either walking, or there's going to be a gym, or I'm going to meet up with someone. Do you kind of manifest, or like know that it's just going to be part of the trip somehow on whatever level it turns out to be?
Absolutely. Because walking is totally awesome if that's what it ends up being. Like, I am totally okay with walking somewhere and calling that a day. I also, like I was saying, I know myself. So depending on where I'm going, I will try to set up things that I know that I show up and have commitments to, certain things. I just, again, word of the day, like, do not get obsessive about it, because that will ruin any trip. Yeah.
And it is fun. I think, like, I find a lot of freedom in that. Like, just knowing that either walk instead of drive, ride a bike instead of drive, do a little, whatever it is. Maybe there's a pool, maybe there's a lake you can swim. Just kind of, to me, it's a cool opportunity to sort of move in a different way and move how you don't move at home.
Absolutely.
And just kind of enjoy that you moved a little bit in whatever.
And be creative. I mean, I can't remember what, I think I was in Palm Springs a little while ago, but it was like, and shout out to Just Move, but like, I was like, let me just do something fun and chill. So like, we were doing dance. Like, it's like so chill, and just do something that feels good, get a little movement in that will boost your energy no matter what, and then go out and enjoy your day.
That's like, a good point. Yeah. Do you actually, I didn't even ask you that. Do you do like workout, like, on demand workouts in the hotel room and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't even mind doing my own workouts on Just Move.
Yeah.
Like, depending on what I want, like, I'll do mobility stuff all the time. I know that might sound weird, but when I'm taking my own workout, I actually don't think of myself as coaching me. You know what I mean? It's just like, I really need some mobility. I want to stretch it out. I just want somebody to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Because for me, working out and moving is an opportunity to check out. And so I just somebody tell me what to do, and I just want to follow along. But also like Keisha's dance, or I done like Ashley's like core. Like, I just do movement, and I don't put a lot of pressure on it, because I think this is the other thing too. Like, I move so that I feel good. And so like, that's really motivating. And like, even if it's 10 minutes of doing something, like, I feel better, and that's what I want. I'm not obsessive about like, I have to move and, burn this many calories, or like stay on this program or this. I'm just not like that anymore. Maybe there might be a season where I come back to that. I'm just not like that anymore. It was never a healthy relationship with movement and my body. And that's something that I know about myself. And I just actively practice not to be like that anymore.
Yeah. Do you think the people who are obsessive talk like that? Like, oh, I need to.
I hate you. I knew you were going
No,
there.
why do we always do that?
I know,
though?
like,
We're like, oh,
because it's like my other personality. I don't know.
You just got a little serious. I had to break it.
No, I
we
know.
We were gonna get too serious.
No,
I'm
but
just joking.
I do think if you, I will put this in my own. When I was obsessive about certain things or really controlling about certain things, it is important to take a step back and to ask myself why. Like, what am I actually trying to control, or what am I actually trying to be obsessive about? Because I think that's what actually needs to be addressed. What happens in my life when I miss a workout? You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that I thought my whole life was going to fall apart. You know what I mean? So I think those are the things that I try to actively remind myself, or question, or have deeper conversations about. And I think that's just I think that's a good practice for all of us.
Yeah, it's funny because I think, it's knowing what are you trying to achieve is often people don't know really what they're trying to achieve, or when you get that achievement, like what happens, like what changes. Because several friends or family where it's like, oh, I just want to be ripped, or I just want this, or I just want that, and I'm always like, and then like what happens, and then it's like, well, I don't know, it's just like you feel good, and I'm like, maybe,
and maybe not.
But you also might be able to feel good doing a little less obsessive, and it's not about, I guess it's just like, how much fun are you having, or like, how much is it fulfilling you versus taking away? And
Absolutely. But this goes into so many of our conversations about, one, like, there's so much that we think is wrapped up in looking a certain way that actually isn't true. And you will not know that until you get there, though.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I support anybody on their journey, because then it becomes very real, and then you understand that. Then you can dial it back a notch and figure out what's the actual sustainable way for you to take care of yourself for the rest of your life, in a way that is not constantly negative towards not doing something, and then you're not even positive when you do, you know what I mean? It's like such an unhealthy relationship. So I think for me, it's just constantly trying to figure out, or think of, your health and movement and fueling right, and, taking care of your mental state as like this bank. You're just constantly trying to put things in the piggy bank. So when I'm on vacation and I wake up and I go on, a little walk, like, I feel great about that. That's great. There's nothing else I'm going for other than to like stack a coin in the bank every day if I can.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
And it's cool if you think about you're adding to versus taking away. Like for vacations, like, no, walking for 3 miles in the morning with my uncle in like this beautiful area, like that is 100% adding to my experience.
So fun.
Taking away might be like, oh, I have to carve out an hour and like before lunch or whatever. And it also might not be. I think it's just worth running it through that filter. Am I like taking away, or am I adding to?
Not only that, but like it also kind of helped. I mean, listen, we all know I like to party. My uncle likes to party too. And it helped us too. Like we would go to bed at like 10:30 because like we wanted to get up and start the day. There's something fun about especially on vacation, we were right on the beach. You see the sun. Like it's like, so it just helped all together. It helped to have a little bit more of a healthy vacation for me, because it didn't like stop our partying. It just tapered it down a little bit. We went to bed a little bit earlier. We woke up earlier. We started with movement, and we had a great time.
A little accountability can go a long way.
It can go a long way. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
are you okay?
C4 is like, I'm getting there's like waves that are happening right now. It's like, hold on, where are we? I'm like holding onto the table.
Wow.
No, I can. I'm
Are you
here.
okay?
I'm here. I'm with you. Okay, so that's moving while traveling. So I think ultimately the takeaway is be open, be kind to yourself, try to add to versus take away, and try to drop a little of the obsession.
Yeah. And I think just remember, like, anything is better than nothing. Maybe you do like a 5-minute stretch before you go to bed at that night. You know what I mean? But I definitely, that is an important takeaway. I would love for everybody to take the one thing away that's like, anything is better than nothing. Yeah. Maybe it's going on a walk, maybe it's stretching a little bit, but just like trying to figure out how you can do something rather than be obsessive about thinking that your routine that you're at home is going to go along with you.
Totally. Yeah. That's great. Okay. So like eating, drinking, like that kind of side of taking care of yourself while you're on vacation. Are you just like, when you get to the airport, you're like, all right, all bets are off? I mean, not that you really eat super like restrictive or anything like that, but like, does that change for you, or how does that?
No, I'm not obsessive about my eating either anymore. And so I think for me, just, I feel better when I don't eat a bunch of crap, and that's what's motivating to me. You know what I mean? But
is that all it takes?
No, what it takes is going through a lot of experiences in life and having some like terrible relationships with food and with, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it takes. It takes experience. But for me, I'm at the point where I'm like, nothing beneficial comes from any of that. And I would rather just feel good. Like, I'd rather just feel good in my body. I'd rather, like, have energy. I'd rather not have a stomachache, like all those things. So that's more motivating to me. You know what I mean? But I'm not, we all know this. I don't count calories. I'm not obsessed about food. There's nothing I don't eat, like I drink, I live, I enjoy my life.
Kaisa, you are truly a woman of balance.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm a woman of my own balance. Yeah. Let's say that.
Well, who else's balance is it?
You're right. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely then. I appreciate that. And thank you. I have figured out what keeps me balanced. And from the outside world, if you looked at it, you'd be like, that woman is really off balance. But I'm on balance. Subjective. And you know how I know that? I'm fucking happy and content with my life more than I ever have been. So I know that what I'm doing is working for me. Period.
Say that then.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about chips?
Chips and guacamole?
Just chips. Look, there's a serious thing going down in our household where we eat too many damn chips. I want to make it to the level of, because every time we eat them, they're so damn good. I mean, especially like the Costco Himalayan sea salt.
Oh, yeah.
Those are so good. The kettle cooked, right?
Yeah.
And we can't stop eating the chips. And then every time it's like after, we're all like, oh, God, why do we eat those chips? And the next day, you're like, ooh.
But you're back at it.
But then, like, hey, look, we need to go on a chip hiatus for a couple weeks, right? So then we go on a chip hiatus, but then Priya starts bringing in like pop chips.
Oh yeah.
I'm like those are still fucking chips, And she's like, no, they're not chips. And then I'm eating them, And it's not about like weight or anything. It's literally about like the feeling. And so part of me is like, God, they taste so good. Like, I just love them. But then part of me is also like, but they don't serve me very well. Like, I don't feel good after eating them. They're definitely not like filling my nutritional needs by any means. So do you not have a problem with chips?
This is so funny you're saying this, because I actually was having this problem with chips last night. And it's not a problem.
No, but it could be a problem.
So I was eating that chili that I brought, and I had a big thing of corn chips. And so I was sitting in my TV room, so I brought the whole thing of corn chips out. And then I was like, oh, this isn't good. Like, I'm like halfway through the bag, and like, this isn't good. So I grabbed a big handful, set them on the table, wrapped up the corn chips, and put them back. Oh, like that was your last? Thinking like that was my last thing.
Yeah, yeah.
How many times do you think I got up after that to go get more corn chips? Until finally, I grabbed the bag and just set it down next to me again. So I get it. Yeah. I have a chip problem too. It's not a problem though. It's just like I have a chip enjoyment too.
Okay.
I do try to, I live by myself, so I have the ability to buy less of things or buy like smaller quantities of things, because I know I will most likely eat them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy some chips.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to give any what you might call a chip tip, do you?
How long were you waiting to drop that?
Come on.
Chip tip.
These things are naturally occurring in
He is the
live
king of dad
time.
jokes.
Yeah. But yeah, come on, give me a chip tip.
No, well, my chip tip would be buy like smaller chip bags, or do something that you can help restrict yourself if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Or maybe my chip tip is enjoy the chips.
Let it rip.
And let the chip tip rip. And if it gives you a stomachache, maybe you'll think twice about that second handful next time.
Yeah. See here, I relate it to the same struggles with like drinking, and I haven't really been drinking as much anymore. So I've figured that aspect out. But you know, when you drink too much and the next day you're like, oh, literally never again. Like, I'm never going to do that. Why did I even do that? I didn't need all that. You start counting. Why would I don't need that. Everything's changing. Today's the day. And then that evening, or afternoon, you're having lunch. You're like, yeah, I'll have a beer. That sounds actually kind of good. Or I'll have the margarita. And then here you are in the same boat, that evening. This sounds like I have a problem. But
no. I'm right.
I feel like it's so similar. Like the ice cream, same thing too. It's like I'll eat the ice cream and I'm like, this is unbelievably good. This is like, how is this so good? And then the next day I'm like, oh God, why did I eat that ice cream?
But the most hilarious thing about all this is we just forget that we're human beings, and human beings by nature, like glutton for punishment. And also we never have control over it. We always think there's going to be a moment, this like pinnacle moment that we get to where we have control over everything, where we figured out the secret to all of this, and we can eat perfectly and we can eat all the right things and we can only drink the perfect amount. We're fucking human beings. It will never happen. It will never happen. So the moment you just like succeed to that, is that the right word? Just give in to that and just go like, cool, I'm a human. Like I'm probably, you know what? This is probably going to happen tomorrow. Like it's just the way that it goes. Life becomes a lot different. Life becomes a lot different when you just give in. Just go with the flow. Damn. I'm not saying don't have.
No, I know what you're saying. You sort of like it, the give in part.
The give in part, because it's just like we constantly, in everything we do, we constantly think that we have so much more control over ourselves than we actually do. So it's this constant battle with ourselves that at some point in time we're going to reach that pinnacle moment, which never happens.
Yeah.
And if you did reach that pinnacle moment with food or drinking or chips or whatever the fuck it is, something else is going to be falling apart. Okay?
For sure.
Everything else is going to be falling apart.
Great. I was looking for this photo, this meme, because my friend sent me this thing where I was like, oh my God, that is so good. And it's totally saying like what you're saying. And I also heard the other day, this guy on a podcast was talking about life is so boring if you have no problems to solve. Oh. So it's kind of like, we beat ourselves up and like, I just need to figure this thing out. I just need to solve this and solve that. And he's like, the great thing about being human is like, you're always working on something. If you have nothing to work on, like you're going to be so bored.
Not only that, but that is like when you get to the moment of realizing that, because when you're like, I have this to solve, and then you're constantly not in the moment, you're like working towards solving that thing. And then you solve the thing and you're working towards the next thing. It was like how my relationship with goals was. You are not living. 36 years go by and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What just happened in life? Or 35, because I would say I started working on that a year ago. But instead, when you're just like, yeah, this is life. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Like, and your attitude, I mean, hello, shit happened this morning. And I came in like, guns a-blazing and had to like vent to the whole team. But then you know what? I'm like, it's just life. Yeah. It's never all going to be figured out. And the moment one section of my life gets figured out, the moment 5 other sections are probably going to go to hell. It's just the fucking way it is. Always and forever.
God, you're getting like, I feel like you really have grown a lot. Oh. The things you're saying, this was really good. Those were like, I feel like you were not there.
No.
A year
ago, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Mike
and
has
you
seen
say
me,
it very confidently.
Mike has seen me through a lot. You have seen me through a lot.
Yeah.
Though. Like a lot.
And it's been an honor.
Oh,
it really has. I mean, we've worked together for a long time, and I've been borderline scared and, and everything.
I scared myself and all of that.
Check this out. So everything you just said, I just wanted to read. There's just a couple bullet points. I think people might enjoy it. So this was interesting. So it's, you can't heal from being human. Normal human impulses aren't being unhealed. Every bad emotion doesn't need a label. Endlessly cataloging your experience isn't doing the work. The human experience isn't easy. That doesn't mean something is wrong. Emotions are messy. Life isn't perfect. Stop trying to heal from being human. I was just like, I want to print this and put it in my house because it's like, oh yeah, we're human. Cool.
What was that line? The human experience isn't easy. Stop trying to.
That doesn't mean something is wrong.
That doesn't mean something's wrong.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
right there. And that's why I always feel like if we can change, but this is the thing. I hate to be so like corny. Movement has taught me that. You know what I mean? Like I just, if you can get to the point where you just realize like, it's kind of like life is one big struggle. And like my perspective about the struggle is what matters. And my perspective about the struggle is what changes my life completely. And that's just literally like, I mean, I feel like that's like there's been so much shit that's happened, I think, over the past 2 years and probably for everybody in COVID and everything else, that it's like my mindset was the thing that had to switch. And when my mindset switched, everything else starts to switch.
Yeah. Like a cliche way they talk about is like change the lenses. You're looking at the same thing, but what you're viewing it through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so corny and it's so tacky, but it fucking works.
Yeah.
It literally works. I'm a very different person than even a year ago.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago.
And when you drop some of the obsession in a lot of these things, all of a sudden they become less important or less obsessive. Like when you stop, like it's almost like I move more and I think I eat generally just more fulfilling to me. Actually, another thing a friend told me was honoring your body. So when I think she was gluten-free or dairy-free, she could eat it, but she was like, if I'm going to honor my body by not having this this ice cream or whatever because it doesn't serve me. I was like, that's a beautiful way versus saying I can't have this thing because it's very like, it's a different language. But like just being less obsessive in general, all of a sudden it sort of it evens out, and then all of a sudden you're doing the thing that you might have been obsessing about.
But can I just pause for 1 second and say, you and I do a lot of therapy. So I
Sure.
do want to just say, learning to be less obsessive or learning to put a lens on, you know, a microscope on the obsession is what's been very helpful to me. Like learning why, you know, and for me, somebody who controls her entire life so that she doesn't get out of control is like questioning why, you know what I mean? And so the moment you can start picking that apart is the moment that you start realizing like, okay, whoa, like I can look at life very differently. But I've also had a lot of like professional help to be looking at everything. So I just want to put it out there. It's not like I'm just like having these like come to Jesus moments on my own. You know what I mean? Like I have been in places with people that I really trust to like really look at things. And like I like to problem solve. I am somebody who likes to turn on like literally head first at things and be like, okay, what? I mean, I guess you'd call that confrontational. Like, I don't know. But I want to know, I'm always like, what's the deeper thing happening here? Why am I doing this? Where did this come from? So I think if anybody is like, if you're getting any little insight from this and you're thinking like, wow, how do they do that? We have a lot of outside help. Yeah. And like, I think that's like so important for people. I mean, I wouldn't be where I was without it.
Yeah. And it's constant. It's not like it's fixed or it's just more of an understanding of what it is and how to operate with it. So it's not like I'm not obsessive. I'm just more comfortable with my obsession.
Yeah. Okay, wait, loud. I am still obsessive. Like I am obsessive. I'm a perfectionist. I am a control. I am all those things. It's just, I acknowledge I am now. And then I also am aware of how they control my life or things that I like, how they play into things. And then I can actively practice to try to pull back on them or, you know, remove them or do that less. And it's a constant active practice. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like creating space. And so the difference of like reacting versus responding, reacting, you don't really have a choice. You're just doing the thing that your body or your mind wants to do. Responding, you have a pause to go like, how do I want to react to this? And I think that's the difference. Like the reaction is the same for me, at least for all these things in my life. I've just developed over the years of a lot of work to just have that slight moment of pause, and definitely not always, but more than I did, to go, how do I want to respond? Like, should I get angry right now? Does that actually hurt? How does this serve me in the future? Is this aligning with my goals? Whatever that is, I have the thought, whereas before I didn't have the thought, and it just was the reaction.
Oh, absolutely. And then I like, not to like draw this all the way back, but moving on vacation. So the question is like, okay, why do I need to obsessively work out an hour a day on vacation? Like, okay, so because I'm scared that I might gain weight. I'm scared that I will become less fit. Okay, why am I scared why does that even matter? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just going into it's like dissecting and like discovering things about yourself. And I think that's the constant active practice that we are all doing or that we should be doing. And I think that when you can do that, you can answer so many questions about yourself. And then you can live a little bit more freely and a little bit more like easily and kind of like roll with those punches in a much different way.
Yeah.
And enjoy vacation a little bit differently.
Enjoy that vacay.
Yeah.
So, like this is just adding on to all this, but like I recently had this feeling of wanting to work out a little more, which is weird because it's like I work out almost every day, but it's like whether it's a walk or mobility or like, you know, a 45 minute to an hour or whatever. But recently, it's for the first time ever, it's like I've just been enjoying it so much that I'm like, I kind of want to do this again later, or like, how can I do this for a little longer than this? And but before it would always be definitely not tuned into that feeling. It would be more like, I need to get this stronger, or I need to like look different, or I need to be whatever. So this is the thing that it's going to take to get there. Whereas now I'm doing my bare minimum of what I've just sort of agreed with myself on, and going like, shit, I kind of want to do this like later on. And actually working out with Brian, our tattoo artist, great friend. Yeah. He's like working out all the time. So he comes over usually once a week. I train him. We're like training sort of skill work, and then we do like a workout together. And he, like, I didn't know this. Sometimes we'll work out for like an hour and a half just because we talk. Yeah. That's a big part of it. And then he goes and works out with another friend like that evening. And he just like loves it. Yeah. Like, because he loves like moving with his friends, and he's like learning a ton. And I'm like, I think that's part of it too. Where I'm like, dude, I kind of want to like move with other people and all this stuff. Anyways, it's just,
I love that. But the thing is like, I also love that this is the season that you're in right now. And there's going to be another season where you don't feel like doing that, or you can't do that. And so it's like, just like welcoming that season and doing that for as long as it feels good, or as long as you want to. And then, you know, when that passes, doing something different. But I love that. I also think this is what makes movement sustainable, is when you're tuned into how it makes you feel, rather than this like outside thing that you think that you're going for. But when you feel good and you feel like you have this energy and you feel like you want to do more, like this is the thing that makes it so that you get up every day and you do your movement.
And feel good about yourself.
And feel good about it.
It's actually a beautiful thing.
It is.
It really is. As you're talking about it, I'm like feeling this, like, it's so nice to just feel like enough, like you're doing enough, and like enjoying what you're doing, and not judging, is it enough? It's like, no, it's enough. Like,
oh my gosh, absolutely. I think that is like the biggest thing. I think we live our entire lives thinking what we're doing is not enough, thinking about who we are is not enough, like just constantly thinking we are not enough. And I think that like, if you can actively practice that with yourself, I think it is a complete game changer. And also, I just want to keep reiterating, you never get to the moment where you realize, aha, now every day I know I'm enough. No, like every day it's an active practice every single day. Some days are better than others.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's great. I also just, because there's so many things, I think I'm in this space right now, but years ago I did jiu-jitsu. I did it for about a year, and then I stopped doing it from an injury. And then I just got River, my kid, into it a month ago. And it's been so cool watching him, and then all the coaches, because I knew them before, because we were going to the same place that I used to go to. They're like, when are you getting back on? And then River will say, Dad, are you going to do jiu-jitsu? And I've kind of had this like weird, like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, it's probably not my thing. I'm putting this out there right now because I want to like be accountable.
Yeah.
But I had this thought yesterday that I did it, I quit. And now I like, that was like an old thing, and now I need to start again. And I had this thought yesterday of like, oh no, that's just all part of that journey for me. Like I didn't stop, that there was just a pause, and now I'm picking it back up, and I pick it up essentially where I left off. Of course, I'm going to have to like brush up on a lot of the things I learned, but it was a weird feeling of like, because it's same with snowboarding or these things where I quit doing them, there's this like grieving or judgment on myself. But then going like, oh no, this was just a season that I didn't snowboard, and next year I will, and maybe it'll be totally different. Yeah. That's like also a really like comforting feeling to not be like,
and a positive spin on it. Yes. Oh, I love that, because again, things are about lenses and perspectives. I think that is so beautiful. And I think that it also is helpful when you're in it to enjoy it more too, because then you also know like seasons pass. And so there might be a time that you're having like an amazing, you know, snowboarding season, and then you're just grateful. You're not thinking like, oh, this moment is going to last forever in life. Like it doesn't. This is the season that you're in, and you might not come back to this season for 5 seasons.
Or ever.
Or ever.
That's honestly a hard thing, that when you're enjoying something and just like knowing that it could be it.
Yeah.
Not even from an injury. It's just
Yeah.
like a life thing,
Yeah.
right? Like you move away from the ocean, you don't surf anymore or whatever.
But that does bring up, you were saying like you're just like excited about movement right now. And I think because I am in a phase of definitely just wanting to push my body and like, and just see what's possible. I think it also comes with age. I think the older you get, which we talked about, the more you kind of realize like, okay, I'm not in this body forever. I'm not here forever, but so what's possible while I am here? And like, what's possible while I can, you know, try and push hard, and like, what am I capable of? And I think that's like I'm in that right now. And it's a fun take on being really competitive with myself in what finally feels like a healthy way.
Yeah. It's kind of, I'm a lot in that mode. And then there's a smallest percentage of like sadness of the reality of kind of like getting older and going like, damn, like I never thought about age really. I really, truly do. And I think it's only because, you know, you're 36, I'm 38, about to be 39. And I think that, there's things that happen like post 35.
Oh, no, know? It literally is post 35.
Yeah. Like you go, oh, now I'm the approach to 40 is coming or whatever. And I think that like, there's a part of me that definitely has like, oh shit, like I got it. Like time is of the essence here. Like if I want to take care of myself, if I want to move when I'm 50, 60 years old, these things that I'm doing right now are actually really important.
Yeah. And they're not go balls to the wall 24/7 and just see what's possible. It's, hey, listen to my body. What do I need right now? Do I need to take it down a notch? Do I need to walk? Do I need to recover? Like that's what this is. And I feel like that's like, finally in that season of being like, I just really want to I want to push boundaries, but like respect what I'm capable of and just be okay, because I don't want it to be for the next year or two. I want it to be for the next 22 years. You know what I mean? Like what's the most that I can get out of myself each year as I grow, not like, you know, for the next 2 years. So
totally. And what's more like beautiful than when you meet someone like older who are older, that's like, but like just say like post 40, like 50 or whatever. And their choice, like they're just like, they just seem so happy, and whatever they're doing, it's kind of all the things we've been talking about. They found that balance. They found that like that groove and flow to that. It's just like they eat healthy because, well, why wouldn't I? Like my heart, like it's better for me, and like I feel better, and I do my morning walks, or I do this or that. Like I just love that when someone really finds that like grace, you know, as they get older, and that's definitely what I strive for. Yeah,
and just values themselves in a different way. And I think obviously like that does come with age, but I don't know. I'm trying to tune into that now, because I realize like I'm like on the brink of being like, okay, no, let's see how crazy I can get before 40. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to see, you know, how badass I can be for years to come, not just for the next 4 years. So, yeah.
Although, I mean, you know,
what?
I just could see you kind of like, you know,
I'm
really
definitely I'm definitely pushing it. I like something hit me. I think it was like, I mean, probably being pretty chill for 2.5 years. I am super competitive right now, but I'm just having fun. Like I literally love it. I'm aware of how things feel. I don't think like there's certain times I've tell, hey, Luca, that's a little too heavy for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm aware of that, but I'm very competitive right now.
Yeah, it feels safe from an onlooker.
Totally. Yeah. I feel like I'm taking really good care of my body right now, and I definitely know when enough is enough, more than I've ever known it. But I also like want to see what's possible. Yeah.
One thing I noticed about you that I've never acknowledged, I think, is that I never ever experience you where you're like, oh, I just had like such a hard workout. Like, oh, I'm so sore and just destroyed. Ever. I've never, even when you film like 6 workouts and worked out this morning or yesterday, I just realized that. I'm in my head, I'm like, because you know, like the typical, I don't know, workout person, if you will. Yeah. Like there's a little bit of like, I don't know if it's bragging
humble
or
brag,
it's a little of like, oh, my buys are just so tore up, and yesterday was leg day. Not that you would talk like that, but like even people who aren't that, you know, genre of person, there's still this like aspect of like, I've been working so hard. I feel like you're always like, you appear to be very like good feeling in your body when is that like
well, I think being like sore is like, people think that's like a badge of honor. I'm like, I mean, there are certain times that I'm sore, but I probably just don't really,
you don't talk about it.
Okay. But no, I don't. I feel like I'm very aware of my body. Like there's certain things where that is not going to work for me. And I know when to stop before I'm like having to walk around crippled the next day. I also recover my body really well. It doesn't mean you're not going to be sore, but like I hydrate the shit out of my body. I eat, I sleep. Like I really, like I don't want my body to be trashed. Like
totally.
I want her always to feel like her best self. And if it is trash, then I have to take a look at like what's going on. But I do get sore. Maybe I just don't really, I don't know.
You just
I
never
feel good in my
look. I don't know. It's a
body.
weird
Yeah.
observation, but I'm just like thinking
No, I
right now. I'm
appreciate
like,
that,
you never
actually.
like limping around or like when you, sorry. Like I'm so sore because I worked out. And I'm like, a lot of times you are working out like crazy. And I'm realizing like, how the hell are you not sore? Like that's wild.
I probably am sore, but shout out to mobility, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I definitely try to take really good care of my body.
Okay.
I don't, being super sore and like hurt is not a badge of honor for me.
Totally.
That is definitely an indication that I didn't listen to my body.
Yeah.
And not that you can't get sore, that's a fine line. But
For sure. And different, it's weird. Like last week I did a 10-minute workout of like kettlebell swings.
Yeah.
That was it. Just 10 swings on the minute for 10 minutes. I was like, that's all the time I have.
Yeah.
I'm going to warm up
Love
real quick, do it. I was so sore from that. I did a heavier weight, but it was weird because often days I'll work out for like 45 minutes doing a bunch of things with kettlebells, even similar-ish weight. But I think I was so intentional that day of that movement and really doing it just as perfect as I could.
Yeah.
I was like, how am I so not like, I can't move, but I was like, damn, like my shoulders.
Yeah, but you
my
might have done,
hips.
because you knew you only had 10 minutes, you might not have warmed up as much.
I did warm up.
Oh,
no,
good
I
for
warmed
you.
up and then did the 10 minutes.
Oh,
Always
okay.
warm up.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
Anymore. The last 2 years, always warm up.
Okay.
Before 2 years ago, never warmed
Jumped
up.
right in.
Yeah. So
Okay.
shout out to Just Move
Hey.
and KaisaFit for teaching me all about the warm ups.
Love it.
So we were supposed to talk about food on vacation, but we totally got into way deeper. But I think it was like the higher level look at how you take care of yourself on vacation versus like, hey, eat almonds at the airport and don't eat, dessert at every meal or whatever.
And honestly, I don't mean to roll my eyes at that, because if that is where you're at, like I have a lot of love for you, but I think I have been to so many of those places that just the most important thing is to look at why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to look at like, what do you think it means if you just eat almonds and boiled eggs?
Yeah.
Or what do you think it means if you stick to your, 1.5 hour workouts like what does that mean to you? And if it's getting you through some really, really hard times, then by all means, like, more power to you.
Yeah.
But if you start to look at that and uncover some things, like go in that direction and see what you're uncovering.
And I think track it. Like track how you feel. Take notes on like things. Like I don't drink on planes. I used to always drink on planes. And then one day this guy, because I was traveling a lot, and this guy was like, dude, yeah, you're already dehydrated. Then you're dehydrating yourself more when you're on the plane, especially because I'm not drinking water. It's like, give me another whiskey. And I would always get kind of sick. I would always get these like sinus infections. And he's like, just stop drinking on the plane. I was like, I'll give that a shot. That was like 8 or 9 years ago. I haven't had a drink on a plane since. And it like worked wonders. If I did it and then nothing happened, then why am I doing it, right? But I took note. I was like, oh, I actually feel way better not drinking on planes. Okay, that like track that. So it's like,
and I have a different perspective.
Yeah.
I drink a water, I drink a mimosa. I drink a water, I drink a mimosa.
That's why you fly first class, because the drinks keep coming. Because the reality is, if you sat and coach and paid for how much you drink, it would be more than paying for a first class ticket. So it's economical. I get it. I totally get it.
Am I bright red right now? Like the color of this.
It's good. But I do think there are things, I think all in all, like take note.
Yes.
On how you feel. Like if boiled eggs and almonds, if you feel better, take note. Like I kind of am starting to stop eating like big egg brunches on vacation. I love big egg brunches, like the 6 egg omelet and the toast and everything. But I just always afterwards, I'm like, I need to go nap.
3 eggs, yeah.
Yeah, it's like too much. So I've started to do like a little yogurt or a little oatmeal, and it like
Yeah.
pains me, but I'm like, I feel way better.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key to life. I think paying attention to how you feel with everything, with movement, with relationships, with food, with drinks, with anything. Like, just pay attention to how you feel and like be tuned in to why you're doing certain things and what those things mean to you. And in some seasons of your life, like being super rigid about things got me through lots of seasons of my life. And I'm in a season right now, you know, and I have been for a little while, where I wanted to dissect that. I didn't want to be so rigid. I wanted to go with the flow a little bit more. I wanted to like take some of that stress off myself, because, you know, being 36 with all that added stress on myself wasn't good for me. So just be gentle on yourself. And what was our thing? You are enough.
Yeah,
you are enough.
You're enough.
You're enough.
Done
Period.
is better than perfect kind of applies to this too.
And what was the other one? Being human is never easy. Oh, what was that? That was so perfect.
Let's get it.
But I think those are the keys to life.
The human experience isn't easy. That doesn't mean something is wrong.
Oh, amen. Yeah. That is the one. The human experience isn't easy. It doesn't mean something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Period. What a fun conversation. I didn't know it was going to go there today.
Nor did I.
Oh, story of our lives.
Yeah. Did we already talk about, so this is the end. We definitely need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Did we mentioned in the beginning to leave.
Yes, we talked about that in our 20-minute intro.
Okay, I forgot it.
Because Angela, shout out to Angela for
right.
leaving our first review, which we so appreciate. But also segueing into, we want to hear from you. And it doesn't have to be like major podcast topics, because Mike and I actually really enjoy the ones where he just rapid fires like questions at me and I have to answer them. So even if you have random questions and you have 1 or 5 or whatever, go to kaisafit.com/ask. Yeah.
That's a great URL.
That is easy. Yeah.
It's great. I think I'm looking forward to getting these rolling, because I really want to hear from people, and it'll be really fun to be able to like play these and have conversation. It'll feel more inclusive, with the community. So
and that's why we're here. So yeah.
Half and half.
Well, we're also here because Mike and I are in therapy together right now. Like, this is full on therapy sessions.
We've reached a level where we can write this off as being business, right? In the past, all these conversations have been going on for years. It's just like, it was a distraction, right? Yeah. Now we've reached a level in the business that we can have these conversations and be like, yo, this is work.
We're working right now.
Yeah, we're working. And we're going to get guests. Like, this is going to grow. Like, I'm very hopeful. I think this is really a good situation, and I look forward to
we're enjoying it. So, and Angela, shout out to Angela. No, but seriously, thank you. And thank you for everybody that is tuning in and listening. Like, we really do enjoy, I think you enjoy being here, having these conversations, and like having this space. So much of what we do in life is like behind a camera or a little bit more curated or on social. Doesn't ever feel like we're connecting or being like open and vulnerable in this way. Or maybe it's just me. And I appreciate that, because I think like how I get to connect with everybody else is being a little bit more open and vulnerable and discuss, harder topics. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's what I love so much about podcasts in general, is because it's just everything is built to be consumed so quickly. And I want to pause from that, because I don't want to consume a million different things in one day. I want to have like a few good experiences that feel deeper. It's kind of like, do I want to know 1,000 people kind of, or 100 people like really well? Like, I'd prefer to know
100 is I prefer to know 5 people really well. Okay,
bad number example, but you know what I mean. So
Absolutely.
I love podcasts for that reason, and I think it allows me, it's like I'm learning things about you on this, even though we've known each other for years.
Yes.
Which is really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, team, thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you back on, I cannot say roundtable anymore.
Let's just say show.
Okay. All right.
Reading. Hold on.
Back up. Hold on. Okay. All right, team. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and we'll see you back on the show very soon.